Hello everyone, I hope you're having a lovely day. Today we are going to practice using the column method for subtraction. We've had a practice at using the column method for addition, so we're going to move on now and try to use it with a different operation in our maths. So to start off with, I thought we would have a go at just quickly solving a word problem in the column method. So my word problem is Mrs. Turvey goes to the shop and buys 27 gel pens. She gives 14 of them to year 2. How many is she left with? Have a quick go for me and see if you can work out how to do subtraction in our column method. And then I will go through the answer with you once you've finished. So pause the video here to have a go. Well done for having a go. I'm going to quickly go through and show you what you should have done to answer this question. So what I always do when we get a word problem is I underline the really important parts of the word problem. So the numbers are always really important in a word problem because that's what we're going to be working with. And then at the end, there's normally a question that kind of gives us a hint as to what we need to do. How many is she left with? Now the word left kind of tells us that we're going to be doing subtraction. So next to my grid, I'm going to do a subtraction sign here, just to remind me that that's what I'm doing. I'm not adding these numbers together, I'm taking away. I'm going to put this first number, the bigger number that I'm starting with, into my grid. 2 10s and 7 1s. And then I'm going to take the number that I'm taking away underneath the number that I'm starting with. 14, 1 10, 4 1s. So now I'm going to do 7 1s, take away 4 1s, and I know that that means that I'm left with 3. You might have drawn these numbers, which is absolutely fine as well. Here I've got 2 10s, and I'm taking away 1 10, and I know that means I'm left with 1 10. So my answer for this word problem is 13. Well done if you managed to get that correct. Moving on. We're going to have a quick recap. So last week we used the column method to add together two digit numbers. This week we're going to use column method for subtraction. So instead of doing addition, we are doing some subtraction. I've put on the screen a poster that we have up in our classroom that tells us all of the different words that we might see in a word problem that tells us that we need to subtract. So we might see the word subtract, we might see minus, we might see the word leave or less, we might see take away, and we might see find the difference between two numbers, which also means that we need to take away to find the difference between them. Just a quick recap on what the column method is as well. So we use our knowledge of place value when using the column method. We can add or subtract numbers using the column method by partitioning the numbers. You guys have practiced this a lot recently, so I'm hoping you're feeling really confident with that. In year 2, we use the column method by partitioning the numbers into 10s and 1s. But as you move up the school, the numbers might get bigger, but the method still stays the same. That means that as you move up into year 3 and year 4 and up through the rest of the school, the numbers that you're adding and subtracting might get bigger, but the method that you're using with this method, the column method, will still stay the same. It just means that in year 3, you might have the hundreds column next to the tens. You might even have the thousands or the 10,000s, but we know that because we're practicing the column method now, hopefully as you move through the school, you will gain even more confidence and it will really help you with your maths. So I'm going to quickly show you how to use the column method for subtraction, and then you can have a go. So I'm going to do these questions quickly here. I know that some of you will prefer to draw the numbers into the grid, which is absolutely fine because we're still practicing, but I'm going to write the numbers because I know that some of you are ready for that step too. Because we're doing subtraction, I'm going to draw the sign here on my grid, just to remind me that I'm not adding these numbers together, I'm taking them away. Now I'm going to start with the big number here. This is the number that I'm starting with, okay? I have 78 to start off with, 7 10s and 8 1s. And I'm taking away 23. So I've got 2 10s and 3 1s. Now we always start with the ones column. We always start with the ones column and move left. So I've got 8 1s and I'm taking away 3 ones, and I know that that means I'm left with 5 ones. Now I've got 7 tens and I'm taking away 2 tens, and I know that that means I am left with 5 tens. So my answer for this first question is 55. Now I'm going to rub this out and show you how to do the next question. Make sure you've got your magnetic eyes and you're following really closely. So I'm going to start with my big number, the first number in my question, 49, and I'm going to put that at the top. 4 tens and 9 ones. And then I'm going to take the number that I'm taking away and put that underneath really neatly, making sure my columns line up. I've got 2 tens and 5 ones. Now I'm going to start with my ones. 9 ones, take away 5. I'm left with 4 ones. 4 tens, take away 2 tens, means I'm left with 2 tens. So my answer for this question is 24. Now let's clear all these and move on because it is your turn. So I've got 2 questions on the screen. It says, have a go at using the column method for subtraction to solve these questions. Use the grid, draw it out carefully and make sure your tens line up together and your ones line up together. Pause the video here to have a go and we will go through your answers in a minute. Well done for having a go. Let's go through and see if you managed to work these out correctly. So I'm going to draw my subtraction sign again, just to help remind me that I'm taking away this time. I'm going to start with this big number. The number that I'm starting on goes in first. I'm going to partition it into 8 tens and 6 ones. And I'm taking away 24. So I'm going to put that into my grid as well. 2 tens, 4 ones. Now I start with the ones. 6 ones, take away 4 ones, means I'm left with 2. And 8 tens, take away 2 tens, means I'm left with 6. So my answer for this question is 62. Let's go through this next question together. So the number that you're starting with is 65, so let's pop that into our columns. 6 tens and 5 ones. And then I'm taking away 33, and I know that that has 3 tens and 3 ones. Starting with my ones column, I'm going to start with 5 and take away 3, which I know equals 2. And then I've got 6 tens, and I'm taking away 3 of them, which means I'm left with 3 tens. And altogether, that is 32. Well done if you managed to get those correct. Right. Here we have some independent activities for you. So have a go at solving these questions and we will mark them together when you are done. So pause the video here to have a go. Well done for having a go. Let's go through and see what these answers are. So our first question is 86, take away 34. Now, like always, we start with the number at the beginning of the calculation, 86, and I'm going to put that at the top. 86. And I'm taking away 34. Starting with my ones column, 6 take away 4, we know equals 2. And 8 take away 3 leaves us with 5. So our first answer is 52. Well done if you managed to get that correct. Moving on to the next question. 94, take away 51. I'm going to start with the number at the beginning of my calculation and put it into my grid, 94. And then I'm going to look at the second number, 51, and that goes into our grid underneath as well, partitioning it into tens and ones. Let's start with our ones column. 4 take away 1, we know is 3. And 9 take away 5, we know is 4. So we are left with 43. Our last question for now is 57, take away 32. So let's put that first number into the grid. 57, take away 32. 2. Starting with our ones, we have 7 ones and we take away 2, we know that equals 5. And 5 tens take away 3 tens, we know equals 2. So we're left with the number 25. Well done if you managed to get those correct. Give yourself a big tick. Right, let's move on. So I'll leave you with a challenge. Here is a word problem. I'll read it to you. 2F brought 54 apples to school and gave 22 of them to 2B. How many apples did 2F have left? So what you're going to do, you're going to have a go at solving this challenge and then you're going to upload it to Padlet for me to see if you manage to do it. Pause the video here and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.